On April 5th, Tony Khan made a huge announcement. This wasn't like the ones that came before it, and while memes, jokes, and the like were made, this time it was huge. On Sunday, August the 27th, AEW will host All In London at Wembley Stadium, the first show of its kind in over 30 years. Today, I'm joined by Ben Cecil from Off the Page Promotions to fantasy book the card for what will be the biggest attended wrestling show on UK soil in over 30 years. How are you, Ben?
Not too bad, I gotta say. It's been busy with everything going on, but I'm feeling good today. Weather's been gorgeous at the minute, so
Very
it's been
warm.
lovely.
I nearly recorded this in my garden. Um, so
I
you're
nearly
this.
recorded this naked, so.
Is that why the camera's so low?
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely. You don't want to see the bottom half of this.
um, so you're the second actual wrestling promoter I've had on this sort of like format. What were the differences you had, like from booking a wrestling show to booking this kind of thing?
Well, obviously you've got like you're dealing with different elements, so I don't want to give too much away with OTP because we're not out yet.
Yeah,
But my focus was, building new talent and giving that platform. Whereas with booking this card, it's all about established names and just putting on the best draw possible. So, in many ways, I found it a lot more difficult, to be honest with you. Even though, you're, so like you might think, oh, it's easy because you've got all these great names to work with and play with. Honestly, Tony Khan, I don't know how he does it. Maybe he does deserve that Booker of the Year award after all.
yeah. I think like one thing people like kind of forget, despite the like wealth of talent that's there, it's finding things for them all to do. Because
Exactly.
that was the thing for me when I booked mine. I had to do like a lot of multi-man matches to try and get people I wanted on the card, and I still forgot like about like five or six people.
Hmm.
So let's go straight into this then. There are rules that I gave to everyone who did these. They are as follows: 10 to 13 matches, including a pre-show. Maximum of 7 talent through the Forbidden Door, i.e., non-AEW talent. Otherwise, all AEW and Ring of Honor talent. Tag teams count as 2 picks, one per team member. Maximum of 3 matches, three gimmick matches, excuse me. Battle Royals do not count as a gimmick match. A Battle Royal can include 2 additional Forbidden Door talent and 2 indie talents if you'd like. And predict a surprise debut, TK huge announcement if you want. So with that being said, Ben, do you have a pre-show?
I do you know what? I actually don't, and I'm looking at my card now, and there's nothing I want to relegate to the pre-show, because I feel like pretty good about it. So, um,
That's a that's a
on the
fair move.
spot though, let's just say Powerhouse Hobbs versus Malachi Black, though, just because I didn't get them together, and it would be good to get Tommy and to be doing some.
Yeah, little bonus match there for everyone.
Yeah, there you go.
Um, Sounds good. So let's go. Let's go straight into the main show then. In
Okay,
that case,
so it's going to start logical, and then there's going to be like a few things. All right, I'll also give you a bit of behind the scenes as well, because like this is the final card. We took a bit of a few deviations to get to this point. All right, but all right, so one of the first match we got on the card, and I would open it up with Orange Cassidy versus Grado. Now,
there's
I know
Grado.
what you might be
Nice.
thinking. That sounds a little bit crazy. Grado, what's he doing there? Look, if we go to the facts mathematically, apart from Drew McIntyre, who is probably one of the biggest draws mathematically in the UK in the last 30 years.
Yeah, that's a fair
There you
fairest.
go.
Also,
Um,
their styles would kind of like marry together so well.
exactly. You've got, and also it's not just like the humor as well. You've got like US versus UK humor in its way as well. So it's like, I think that would pair so well. It would be so funny. It would be engaging. And I don't know. I feel like Tony Khan might relish the opportunity of getting to work with Grado. So,
Yeah, it's mad that he's not like doing as much as he. I mean, he's obviously still doing stuff in Scotland, but like it felt like he was really going to take off when he was in the Impact that time.
hmm,
And obviously, it was kind of more. It was kind of more like Impact didn't really want him. They was just like, oh yeah, the fans want him, so we're gonna do it. But I am surprised that like a Ring of Honor or someone like that didn't then go and pick him up. So it'd be good to see him on that kind of stage for sure.
Well, I like see this is the thing. I do worry that comedy wrestling can be hard to book, or in more not quote unquote serious promotions, but it would have been harder to find a place for someone like Grado. Having said that, though, right, I wouldn't say that it's him slowing down. He's got, I don't know if you've seen Scott Squad or Two Doors Down. He's got an acting career going, and he's pretty damn good at it.
Yeah.
So fair enough, fair play. But
Grado's gone
no, I
Hollywood.
would like to see that.
Yeah, that sounds good. I take it Orange retains there.
Yeah, Orange over. But you get the respect, all good laugh, so no issue.
Yeah, I think as well with something like that, it's a bit more like obviously like Orange has been going really like pedal to the metal recently.
Hmm.
So it's a nice kind of like sort of deviation away from that to remind people that he's really good at comedy stuff as well as like the style he's been working at the moment, which is like how is he still able to walk off half the stuff he's doing?
Even then, though, if you had like 3 minutes of like proper wrestling, Grito can still go.
Yeah,
So,
that's it.
anyway, there's a good mix of stuff there. I think that'll be class.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right,
What we
cool.
got next?
Then next match, just going on from storylines, especially at Double or Nothing. I've got Jade Cargill versus Chris Statlander, so I figure that keeps the storyline going, and the match is ready made. It's built.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Start retain there or Jake?
Yeah, I'd say Chris Statlander over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good.
So I don't have too much to say on that one, but it'll be a good match, and the story's built there. So there we go.
Yeah, I feel like the way that like Statlander kind of like answered that open challenge at Double or Nothing, and then pretty much like demolished Jade. It allows them to have like a bit more of a sort of meatier match this time around. Like
Exactly.
put a bit more meat on the bone, if you will.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely,
big fan of
absolutely. All right, then. All right, so next one, and hear me out on this one. I feel like with this card, I'm going to say this a wee bit too much, right? But hear me out, right? So Wembley Stadium, 1992. Who was the big draw there, sir?
that. It was Davy Boy Smith.
So that's why I'm thinking Wardlow versus Harry Smith.
I mean, he's in town the day before, isn't he?
He's in town. He's
Wrestling
there.
for progress.
Absolutely.
So
As a very wise man once said, two big men slapping meat. You got the historical aspect there as well. Obviously Wardlow over, but still though, I think, for the attraction and just like the historical
yeah,
part of it, like that's what I'm
I
attracted to there.
I would be shocked if Harry Smith doesn't show up in some capacity at that show.
Hmm.
Even if it's just like put him in like do like the casino battle royal and just throw him in that. Like
Yeah,
I'd be genuinely shocked if they didn't like do anything with one of Bulldog's kids. They might even just get Georges to just show up and like say something. But I think either way, one of Bulldog's, if not both of his kids, are showing up. This could also be like the kind of like seeds for like a Wardlow heel thing, wouldn't it? I suppose if he's like calls out like the best big man Britain's got to offer, and then Harry Smith comes out.
exactly. Although to be fair though, Wardlow, I don't know, he's got some good momentum. I feel like he's got popularity. If he doesn't go like full hilt heel, we can still stay babyface. So
Yeah,
there's different ways to play it though, which is intriguing to me. So
yeah, that's it.
so
That's the name of the game, isn't it? Intrigue. Like if there's something where you go, oh, what if that happens, or what if that happens? Like you're invested, aren't you?
exactly. So I'm all about that though. I don't like when sometimes the right outcome is the right outcome, but like when things aren't too obvious either, I like that as well. So
Mm,
so
agreed.
going on up the card, we have got kind of an obvious one, but I think it'll make sense. We got Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm.
Yeah, that
I
makes
think that'll be a
total
good
sense.
match. Hometown girl there as well. Um, be a good match. Tony Storm obviously been seen all across the country as well on the indie level, but still quite popular. Got those links there. I just think that'll be a cracker.
Yeah, yeah. I think every single one of these I've done, I've said like Jamie Hayes is pretty much like a lock in for like one of the biggest pops of the night.
Hmm.
As soon as their music hits, as soon as she comes out, like especially with the injury thing now, where you could even do it where like Jamie answers like an open challenge. and then it's like surprise Jamie Hayes is here, and everyone like goes mental. Yeah, these two have got like great chemistry as well. Again, no brainer.
No, absolutely. So I think that's a log, and that makes sense to me. So the next one I would have after this, right? And I'm not sure about stipulation here, but I think after the last pay per view, I'd like to see Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara 1-on-1. So I know that this has been explored before, but I think the UK crowd would like that. I think they would be behind Darby, and I think that would be sort of a good sort of interquel match, like not quite main card, but not not bottom of the barrel either. It'll be some meaty there, I think.
Yeah, every time. I think the whole thing they're going for with the four pillars is every time like they kind of one kind of combination of them crosses paths, it's like a match to get excited about. And I think out of all of them, this is the one that I get the most excited about because of that first match they had on pay per view at Revolution, and then obviously they had like the little series going into that as well. Yeah, anytime these guys lock up, it's always exciting. It's always good. There's always some spot that you like talking about for weeks afterwards. So yeah, can't argue with it at all.
No,
Who goes
yeah,
over it
I
now?
think that'll be a good wee match. Okay, so now this next one, right? I got a wee bit creative here, so it's gonna be a tag match, right? But two fellas in it aren't together, right? But I think I was thinking about this, and I know that both of them are normally heels, but the UK, it's a funny crowd. They're like sometimes they're more likely to cheer the heels. And I thought, who are two guys, even if they ran over someone's mother, they're never gonna get booed. So I thought, facing the Young Bucks, we have a little reunion between Vitamin C, Christian Cage, and Chris Jericho. Now,
Nice.
obviously, we need to work towards putting them together, but I think like the optics for that tag match would be sick. I think the match itself would be really good. I think that combination again would be really fun, and you're gonna have it like a really really good tag match.
Yeah, I, I think Tony Khan would be insane not to at least like once have like Jericho and Christian tag up while they're in the same company. Obviously, they do have that history from like the Ruthless Aggression era, and yeah, this would be really fun. Yeah, to be honest as well with the way Jericho does things, sometimes he just like pulls people out from his past, doesn't he? Or like when he just like announced, oh yeah, Jeff Cobb's going to do this match against Mox because none of the inner circle wants it. Um, like they could do like the laziest way, and I think people would get a book on that, and people would still get excited for the match because of what it is. But so yeah, I'm down for that.
And I think like their comedic, like relationship as well is so good. I mean, I can't see like the Young Bucks doing like the ass cream spot, but I think that their comedy will be so good that it would lean into it's Jericho, it's Christian. They're gonna get cheered. Let's lean into it. So
Yeah, yeah. I
so
think they don't realize like Jericho's definitely getting cheered. Christian's definitely getting cheered because the guys we haven't seen wrestle over here for like such a long time. Like, it's been over a decade for Christian. It's been almost after Jericho.
absolutely.
So
Even
yeah,
then, though, like I think Jericho's just got so much goodwill with Fozzy, which is a crazy statement. You couldn't have said that 10, 15 years ago, mind. But he's just got so much goodwill with his band, and Christian's just so beloved. Young Bucks as well. I've found that they're like personally for me they're better heels than they are baby faces, but you can toe the
yeah,
line with this match as well. So I think that's going to be amazing crack.
yeah. I know Faye's going to see this and absolutely kill me for saying it, but you might agree with me. They're just not very likable people. They're
I
just
I don't find them very likable either, but
no.
I only got them when I saw them heel. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
okay, I get it now,
that it doesn't hit the same when they're like bragging about how much money they're making. They're like, but everyone needs to cheer us. It's like that's like the most heel thing you can do. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
bragging about making more money than everyone else. Like, come on.
So I'm excited about that one. Put that
That
combination
would be fun.
together. Good stuff. So now we're getting into the big boy stuff. Now, not that that match before wasn't big boy, but now we're getting serious. So I haven't quite decided on a stipulation for this, but I think this could be a big and bloody battle. I think this could be a real fight. I would like to see Britt Baker versus Soraya.
Oh yeah,
So I think that just makes sense. Soraya, obviously, hometown favorite. Britt Baker going to get cheered as well because she's just so damn cool, right? I think
I
that's great. I think that just makes sense.
I
I will
feel like
note as well,
Soraya gets booed in that, you know,
she may well, yeah.
because she's like just really good at getting heat. Like
Hmm.
it doesn't matter where she is, it doesn't matter what she's doing. Like she's just very good at getting heat. So I think she could turn the crowd on her for sure.
So different ways you can play that as well. And I think like these two, if we do some sort of like really, again, I'm not sure on the gimmick, but if it's just a knockdown, drag out war, just like lots of gimmicks, lots of plunder, I think that's going to
Yeah,
be a lot of fun. And I think the crowd are going to go for that as well.
a good
I
old
should
fashioned
say,
no holds barred match.
yeah, absolutely. I think that'll be unreal. And I think like the UK will go for that as well. So
Yeah,
Um, I will say, like bit of a development note, right? This match was originally because I wanted to play into the angle and feature a couple of indie talent, but I was just thinking how well it would be received, so I ixnayed it a bit. But originally, I would have liked to have seen Britt Baker versus Lizzie Evo.
you're not the only person who said that, and I think that's definitely a dream match on everyone's like kind of card who knows. Well, I say everyone who knows Lizzie, because like one thing I found from the comments is people have been like, "Who's that?" It's like just look her up. She's
Get
fantastic.
to know.
Get to know who she is. She's one of, if not the best women's wrestler in the country, one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet, I think. She's just outstanding.
Absolutely, like 200%. And I think she's got that attitude and fire where she can really take it to Britt Baker, and that makes that so exciting.
Yeah, she's very, very good at like kind of just just kind of like getting a feel for like what kind of like mood the crowd's in, and then just like playing off it completely. Like the amount of times where like when we've been at TNT shows and she's just tearing the crowd on her like that, where they've like been cheering her and she's meant to be an heel and she's just said something and everyone's booing her. Like she's so good at what she does.
She's magnetic. She really, like, honestly, I think the sky's the limit for her.
Yeah,
And you know, it is an inevitability. VGS reference, which by the way, if I had my way, they'd be featured in this whole damn card. But we move. Um, Not to break kayfabe, success is inevitable for her. So it's just a
yeah.
case of it's not if, it's when. So
I'm surprised that they haven't. I mean, there's obviously still time. They might announce like doing some kind of like tapings after All In. I wouldn't be surprised if like they got like a lot, maybe not a lot, but you know, like a couple of like UK talents, even if they did like a Ring of Honor taping, and they could like use that to kind of like bring in a few like UK talents to have matches with like some of the Ring of Honor roster. Um, I'm genuinely surprised they haven't announced anything like that. I thought that would have been a shoe, and obviously the big focus is Wembley, but yeah, it does surprise me.
well, see, this is the thing. I think it's like palatability for a lot of people. I mean, I don't know why. I don't get it, but a lot of people are like very put off by watching a 2 hour indie show. They don't. You know, I don't want to. I'm not saying that they think it's dirty or whatever, but it just feels like they don't want to sit down and watch an indie show. But if you put these
That
talents on the right platform, they'll be like, "Oh my God," switched on instantly.
yeah.
So
Well, it's like Jericho, like on he interviewed Michael Oku and he was like, "Oh yeah, you'll be working whatever we do over here. Like I'll make sure of it." It's like Jericho wants to work a match with Michael Oku, and that's cool as shit for me because he's awesome.
yeah,
And it's like,
absolutely.
well, like why wouldn't you kind of be happy that like it's like when they have like the local job guy come out and like it's like, oh, they're from this town, and everyone gives them like the sort of like commemorative pop. Why wouldn't you be happy to see someone from your country doing well at this big show? Like obviously there's like bigger names that they can use, um, of course, but I mean if any indie talent that I knew of, or even one that I wasn't too familiar with, shown up, I'd be like, oh, this is cool. I get to see someone who probably like has worked their ass off to be here.
Well, hey, all you need to do is just put someone over in the right way. Even if you have like Excalibur go, oh my God, that's Lizzie Evo. She's the women's wrestling champion of the United Kingdom. Like, boom, I know who she is instantly. And then her ring work's going to do the talking. But
Yeah,
hey, what do I know? So so I think that's going to be a good match. Okay, now I've got one that I don't know if anyone else has suggested. I think this might raise a few eyebrows, and even me, I struggle with putting this one on. But hear me out. Hear me out. Sting versus Ric Flair. Now
yeah. No one
they,
said that.
I know that they like Ric Flair and even Sting. They're in no shape to be having no damn matches. All right, and I know that. So treat this more like an angle. But they come out, do a couple spots over. They have a little hug and a kiss in the middle of the ring, and then that's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, um, yeah, that'd be interesting. I, I'm, I mean, Ric Flair's like kayfabe retired himself now, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he always says never say never, and I think for this,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, there are better talents that Sting could work with, and
ooh, your audio's cut there, dear.
when you leave wrestling, when you finish up in wrestling, you're supposed to put someone over on the way out, right? Sting, I feel, is not at that level where if he were to put someone over, it would look good. So
Mm,
we might as well have a bit of an exhibition, might as well have a bit of a moment, a feel good moment, have the two, have a kiss, say, hey, we're going out to fucking Nando's after. Am I allowed to swear on here, by the way?
yeah, absolutely, man.
Ah, fuck, that's
Absolutely.
great. Anyway, um, they have a bit of a moment, they have a hug, say, we're going to Bella Italia after this, and then everybody's happy. You know what I mean? Just because, yeah, like I don't think Sting's in the position to really, do the 1, 2, 3 for anybody now. It was questionable 10 years ago. Now, the man's 60. It's just not happening. So just have the moment, just as they did on the last episode of Nitro. Just have a bit of a moment. Um, and I think the UK will pop for having, the Ric Flair entrance again. So, why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I think the closest we've got to that is I'm sure someone said Sting versus Goldberg,
Oh God,
and I was like,
do
um,
you want Sting to die?
I don't, I really don't. Um, yeah, I think this like it's one of those things you've won me over a bit with that. So like the the spectacle of it is what would be the selling point for it, right?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely. So, like,
no one's
even
there for
I
the
think
match.
even just the entrances, and then they're working at half speed. But if you have like a bit of a conceit out there where they have like someone managing them just to get them through their spots, the match
Yeah.
itself will be very quick. But as I say, it's just more like what one last time.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, they could literally just do it where like it's an angle. Flair challenges Sting to a match. Sting just like dodges it like a brass knuckle shot or something.
Hmm.
It's the Scorpion death drop, and then just pins Flair, and then keeps both of them safe. Obviously, I think Sting's like got a bit more kind of capability to do more physical stuff than Flair. Like, have you seen Ric Flair's last match?
Oh, I have heard tales. I've seen clips. He passed out several times. It sounds like, honestly,
Yeah,
when I read that, it was like this sounds like Mr. Burns having a match.
yeah, that's a very good analysis. Like there was a bit where he faked a heart attack, and then there was a bit like a couple of like close to the finish where genuinely like I thought he died.
Cry.
I
That's
was like,
very Alan Partridge. I can just imagine, like,
I,
call an ambulance, Lynn. Call an ambulance.
yeah, Andrade they had to basically like help Flair do the figure four on Jarrett,
Oh
and then
Lord.
like after the match was like feeding Flair water, like cradling him like it was like from like a
Oh,
war film or something.
oh my God.
It, it's one of those things like I watched it I watched it not quite live but without having seen anything that had happened, and I was like, oh God, am I going to see a man die here? Oh God. And then well, going back, I can laugh at it, but like at the time, I was like, yikes. It
Uh,
was,
we nearly saw a ring legend die. Ha ha ha. Um,
yeah,
but no, yeah, like it's all about the spectacle there for me. Even if the, as you say, like we don't even need to see any wrestling. Like I'm not interested in actually, like when the bell rings, I'm not actually interested in anything that happens there. So theoretically, anything could happen, you know.
yeah,
So, but you do the entrances, you do the thing, hug spot, respect spot. I'm happy. That's good enough for me.
yeah. And that'd be kind of like a good way to put a bow on their kind of whole feud, I guess, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I know that we did that, 22 years ago on the last Nitro, as I said, but that whole thing was just tainted just because they did it and then it was like smash cut to Vince McMahon. So this might give it a bit of respect. So,
Yeah, and neither man had like wrestled for a little while when he did that either, because like Sting was in good shape, but like Flair certainly wasn't.
oh no.
And like you could tell, like they'd they'd been away from wrestling for a little bit. They didn't look quite as sharp as they normally had have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be a as I said, as we've said, a spectacle. Um,
Spectacle, a bit of an icebreaker between this and the upper card, I think. So yeah, I've no problem with that. I think that would be cool.
yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good, man. What we got
So
next?
okay, so this one went through a lot of changes because it would be FTR, and I'll say who I want. So ultimately, I decided that they would fight the Gun Club, right? Which again, I
Okay.
think that's going to be a sick match. This one went through a lot of changes. My heart said Kings of the North.
I
Of course, it did because they're my boys. I love them.
yeah,
Even at one point, it said VGS, but no, 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 no. Love them to death, but um, no. Kings of the North. It was. But then I thought, oh, it's going to be a hard sell. Like Lizzie Evo, you can play it off. Kings of the North, it's going to be even harder. And then you're going to have a lot of idiots online saying, "Oh well, they're Irish. What does it have to do with All In?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is even though the match itself would be insane, this is a mountain to climb." So I
yeah,
thought, let's keep it to the roster. Gun Club have been doing some really cool stuff at the minute. Really like their run, and I think that is going to be an excellent tag team spectacle.
yeah,
Um, I would assume, well, not assume, but you could have something there for the titles? Question mark. Have I made a fool of myself there? I haven't been watching the product
no, no.
religiously.
FTR are current tag champions.
Oh, okay. Then, oh, thank God.
Don't look like they're losing them anytime soon either. Unfortunately,
Exactly. Yeah, but put the titles on. They retain. Still it's a good damn match, and that's that. So I think that would be a good match. 15 minutes, and definitely a good way to sort of pick up the crowd again after Ric Flair and Sting. So
yeah,
So not much to say on that one. I just think it would be a really good match. I'm more excited by the next match, which is also a tag team match. All right, I really like this one. All right,
okay,
okay. I would like to see the Acclaimed versus the Blackpool Combat Club
yeah. Uh,
because
I,
everybody loves the Acclaimed, as we know.
everybody loves
Uh,
the Acclaim.
everybody does, but also Blackpool Combat Club. Everyone in that group so sort of beloved in the UK and Europe as a whole, So I just think that is a tag team match that's just gonna bang. I think,
What
I don't.
combination of BCC?
So in my head, right, and I struggled with this because it's like, you can't leave him out. You have to have him in a marquee match, but this is a marquee match, so that's why I reneged in the end. Brian Danielson and Claudio.
Okay,
So
okay,
that's why I went for. It would have been easy to say, oh well, do Brian versus Zack Sabre Jr., but I thought that's too easy.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
A lot of people have put that on their card.
oh gee,
I,
well
I
now,
I feel like that's the direction they're going. To be fair,
bro, no, and will that be a good match? Absolutely,
oh
but
yeah,
look, I'll put my hands up. I'm a big mark for tag team wrestling. Love it to death. I just think that match would
it would
initially
be
it looked
very
like a
cool.
clash of styles, but when they get going, Oh, brother, it's going to be on fire, you know?
Well, remember that match that Danielson had with Bowens, like when I think it was literally just after he come back, or
I
just
don't
after he
recall that,
debuted.
no.
They had a match on Rampage that went about like 10, 15 minutes. It was really good.
Hmm,
So I'd be sold on just Danielson and Bowens, to be honest with you. Like, add Claudio and Caster doing like sort of like strong guy stuff. That'd be fun as well. Like, it
absolutely.
really round it off. And for a fact, the Acclaimed getting a massive pop, because they always do. And
Absolutely.
I'd love to see what the rap they do is. I I feel like I want to see the Acclaimed against like a UK team, or like a not even like a UK like indie team, like British talent, let's say, just to see what they kind of say, to see if they get like the crowd, like can try and get the crowd to turn on them a bit. But
Oh, I'd be so scared though because one reference to 2020 and it's all over. So cut that, cut that. Anyway, um, they do it though. They would do it. They would
yeah,
100% say it with their chest. Um,
oh yeah,
but yeah, Acclaimed and BCC. I think that would be sick. So,
yeah, I'd be down for that.
then we get on to. So I hate with a passion the term double main event or triple main event because it usually means nothing's the main event, right?
Yeah,
But I've got three matches here that could be a main event anywhere, right? So
let's do this.
we're in the home stretch now, so don't worry. Um, I would like to see so the third last match, Jack Perry versus John Moxley, just an absolute
Ooh.
war, battering each other. And I feel like if you're gonna start putting over Jungle Boy, now is the time.
Yeah, they really need to give him something with a bit more of like an edge to him as well. And I think, feuding with Mox is the thing to do that, isn't it? Um, would you have a gimmick on this match, or just straight up?
I would like to have a gimmick, but I just don't know which way to go. Maybe just like no holds barred, or I don't
Yeah,
want to say falls count anywhere because like it's like falls count anywhere has been so devalued as of late. But maybe you could just do hardcore or not quite a death match, but just some bloody, where it's like, hey,
yeah,
listen, I can hang on to your level, blah blah blah. I'm not scared to bleed, blah blah blah. And just anything that demonstrates that, and like allows for just a real
yeah.
war. You
I
know what
mean,
I mean?
to be honest, if they did like just a straight up singles match, but they booked it similar to like they did Mox and Utah, that would be compelling in itself. Where it's just Mox just like doing horrible things to Jungle Boy, and Jungle Boy trying to overcome it.
Mm. No, and that's the thing. Like that's why I'm not too married to like a stipulation here because like
Yep.
either way, you can tell the story that you want to tell.
Yeah, I
It's
think
not.
this would be a tremendous match. I think that's a match that people haven't kind of one of those matches people haven't considered, like how good it would be, because it's something like you kind of take for granted. Like, oh yeah, they could do that whenever they want, but it's like, yeah, but why
When.
haven't they? Yeah,
Yeah.
why haven't they done it yet?
Yeah.
There's quite a few matches like that in AEW, and that this is certainly one where, until you said it, then I was like, oh yeah, that'd be real fun.
And with Perry going over, I think
Oh
I'll
yeah,
put him over, make a star. You know what I mean? Like that's what we're here for. We're in the business of doing business, so put him over.
yeah, especially like a guy who like really kind of sort of like hung their hat on as like the future of the company,
Mm.
and it feels like they're kind of trying to just coast by on the fact they've done that. Like, this guy's the future of the company. That's his gimmick. Is like, well, he needs a bit more teeth to him. He needs a bit more kind of, not even necessarily an edge, just a bit more like kind of depth to the character,
Like
because he's
AJ
just,
Styles was like the future of TNA for like 10 years, and
yeah,
it did him no favors.
they're in so much danger of turning Jack Perry into the AJ style, like TNA AJ Styles of AEW.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for this, and that'll be a very fun match.
Put him over like Rover, and then that'll be good. All right. Second to last match. I know it's going to be a bit contentious. I know like this is something like with a bit of real life heat. But to be honest, if I look at like my, you know where I'm going with where this
I know
I've said this
exactly
right.
where you're going with this.
But if you look at all my favorite matches, where you think about things like uh, Edge and Matt Hardy or Lionheart and Jackie Polo, I like matches that have like something behind it, and there's just like a bit of like I know it's all a work, but what's gonna happen, you know? So that's why there's no way in hell that I was gonna leave off CM Punk versus Kenny Omega.
Yeah, I think this is the most likely match out of that whole all out fallout stuff
Mm.
that will happen. And the books have kind of like said, yeah, we want nothing to do with them. Which I mean, they talk about how much money they make, and then it's like, oh, we don't want anything to do with this guy who's gonna could make us a load of money because people want to see that match happen. I think Kenny's kind of a bit more like, yeah, I'll just do it. Don't really like the guy, but I'll just do it. Um, and I think this is like the dream match that AEW have at the moment. Like, there's nothing I can think of on their roster that like they haven't at least entertained or at least done some kind of iteration of. These guys haven't even been in the same ring at the same time. So yeah, I think this will be a very exciting match. Have you got anyone going over in that, or have you?
Well, I don't want to betray how I feel about the situation too much, but I'd have Punk going over just because it's his big return match, and you know the UK loves Punk. They haven't got to see him for a long time, and I just think it makes sense to put him over strong, and then obviously you could, if you want to go back to it, you know Kenny can win the return match, although I would not be shocked if CM Phil were to say that doesn't work for me, brother, and there isn't a return match. But still, I think Punk should go over.
I I think that Punk seems to be very like willing to. He seems a lot more willing to kind of like do business than the others, which is a weird thing for me to say,
Yeah,
given he was the instigator of everything by the sound of things. Um, but yeah, I think this is the money match, isn't it? This is not that they've like needed to announce anything for this show to sell tickets, but this is the ticket seller. If people were in doubt about or unsure about buying a ticket and this match got announced tomorrow, like I think they'd sell the remaining tickets.
absolutely. Like it would just be a smash, and
Yeah.
it's in their power to do it. I think, you know. So, you know, if it's in their power, let's make some money. Let's do it. You know, and like it's very easy to say, oh, well, we don't like each other. But if you like, I mean, just look through history. There's lots of people who didn't like each other who look past that to
Brett
make
and
money.
Sean.
So, yeah.
Brett and Sean hated each other. They feuded for like the better part of 2.5 years, despite the fact they hated each other.
But they knew that they would be
Because
silly to leave money on the table because
Cause,
they're
yeah, because
professionals. So,
they knew they were gonna like make a fucking ton of money off the back of it. So
hmm,
yeah,
that's what he had to do. So, now, main event time. So, obviously, let's not insult anybody's intelligence. MJF is going to defend the title,
yeah,
right? But I had to think, right, well, who makes the most sense? And obviously, you can look at the AEW roster, and it's like, oh, well, should it be Danielson? Should it be one of the marquee guys that they got? Should we put over someone? I think for an event like this, especially one, you know, first time in the UK, you want the market to get hot. You want people to really get excited about the product. You want to be able to come back and tour there and keep business up. I think it makes sense on a business level to have a British guy face MJF because, excuse me, that is so easy to promote in the papers. That's so easy to like. If you have a British guy, that's a ready-made angle for the papers. You get, well, I was going to say you get them on this morning. Maybe not now. You know, we'll get them on.
not this much.
Good Morning Britain. You know, but you know that's so easily built. So in my mind, there are only two men for the job. Um, One of them can't really happen, but if you could get it to happen, that's maybe who I would have picked. But there's been a lot of talk about Drew McIntyre being let out of his contract.
Yeah,
However, I don't see it happening. I don't see it like even if he is let out of his contract, I think legal issues and logistics are not going to let anything happen by that time. So I think if you have to go with the most over name, the most recognized name, and someone who aligns directly with AEW's goals and everything else, in my mind, it had to be MJF versus Will Ospreay.
Oh, nice.
So fact is the fact. I think that the match quality there will be insane. It'll be through the roof. The story there is built. I also think that Will Ospreay can keep up with MJF on the mic charismatically. I also, you've also got the idea there that while Will Ospreay is a bit of an indie hero, and he is also known to AEW audiences as well. So you don't have to do the whole thing of, oh, who's this guy, and you don't like that. It's not an extra hurdle to overcome. So MJF will go over, but you'll have the visionary spot where it's like 1, 2, 3, but his foot was on the ropes, So,
Yeah, I
but
think people.
MJF goes over, I'd say, and then we'll have none of this, singing American Pie at the end, So
No,
that I was there for that. I wanted that, like, I was in the middle of walking out, and I was still wanted to walk out. That was horrible.
I I remember watching, like, I didn't go to Clash of the Castle, but I watched it on like live, and I remember it happening and just thinking, "The fuck's going on?"
Exactly.
And then, like, I thought, oh yeah, fair enough. Fury's gonna like get in the ring and he's gonna like either level Drew or and set up a match, or he's gonna just raise his hand and get like the little sort of, oh, you did your best pop. And then when he started singing, I was like, I
What?
don't, I don't think this is meant for the home crowd. I think this was meant for the people in the stadium. And I think it come out like a week later that that was the case. Like they accidentally left, like kept rolling, kept streaming it, and it was just like it was just there. It was like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Yeah, I'm down for no American Pie. I think the thing, back to MJF and Osprey, the thing that MJF's doing really well at the moment is obviously he's being a chicken shit heel, but he's showing he can kind of like keep up with like a lot of these guys that people thought he couldn't, like Danielson, like the Four Pillars match that just happened, where it's three guys who are considerably faster, like paced than him, but he managed to keep like hold his own and keep up. Um, I think this is a very very good choice for an opponent for MJF. I agree with you. I think that there's only one guy I think who isn't British who should be facing MJF, and that would be Adam Cole, because the pop he get would be huge. Um, but yeah, like it all falls into the kind of MJF matching the work rate, which yeah, this would be very fun, and also to see MJF going over, have the crowd pissed off, but then like give Ospreay a standing out at the end or something. This would be tremendous.
I think that's the best way to end it. And uh so I'm a bit stuck now because I just realized, shit, I forgot about Pac and I forgot about Adam Cole. Shit.
Yeah,
Shit. All right, well put them together and they can make magic as well.
yeah. I mean, to be honest, like as I was saying to you before, like when I was doing mine, it's so hard to kind of like fit everybody in, and also sometimes just making it meaningful. Like, and that's one thing that you've done where like not everyone else has kind of done, is that you've gone for more kind of meaningful matches as opposed to just trying to like shoehorn everybody on the card.
Well,
So
at the end of the day, I'm all about story. I'm like, I like that is the basis of professional wrestling. Otherwise, you just have like a synchronized Olympic performance. Not saying that that's not enjoyable. I don't want to piss anybody off, but at the end of the day, stories are the lifeblood of what we do. So,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I really like that card, man. I was very impressed.
oh, thank you, thank you.
I'm not going to say whether it's better than VGS's or not, because I don't want to get involved in that beef.
Oh, please.
I'll just watch it unfold on Twitter through the week. Um, but yeah, thank you very much for joining us, Ben. Where can people find you on social media and off the page? Do you want to do a little shout out to that as well?
Absolutely. So you can find me on socials, Twitter at Ben Cecil MC. Instagram, I believe that's bencecil.mc. I don't know who this other Ben Cecil MC is lurking about, but if you are,
That's getting added on the pre-show.
meet me at Kenny McDonald's car park. All right, 3 a.m. We're gonna have a straightener. All right, you can find me there. Off the page is my promotion. I'm starting that in September in Warrington. So basically, I've got two aims for that promotion: stories and uplifting new talent. So we've already announced names like VGS. We just announced Kia yesterday. We're going to work with people like Helen Charlotte Campbell. I'm just all about like giving these people a platform and getting you excited to see these names, so and then building stories within. So if you're excited by that, if you want to see some good matches, some good story, come down to Raw is Warrington live on September 9th in Warrington at the Tetley's Club. Would love to see you there.
Sounds good. I'll definitely get to try and get down there myself. Yeah, thank you very much again, Ben. If you want to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all the other stuff, we are Untitled Rest Pod on Twitch, Twitter, and Discord. Untitled Wrestling Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Next week is going to be the final one of these, and then I'll be announcing the new series as well. Don't know who's on it yet. We'll see. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.